This episode of the DolphinsTalk.com podcast is sponsored by Caneswear. Caneswear.com is the spot where Miami fans shop. That's Caneswear.com. Caneswear.com, the best and most affordable gear for the Miami Dolphins, the Miami Marlins, the Miami Heat, the Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers, all of the professional and college sports teams in South Florida. Caneswear.com has you covered. If you're in South Florida, you can visit the storefront at 2655 South University Drive in Davie. They ship internationally as well. So Caneswear.com, make it the place. It's the best and most affordable Miami Dolphins gear. That's Caneswear.com, Caneswear.com. And don't forget about Dolphins Talk Extra. Go to patreon.com/Dolphins Talk for additional Miami Dolphins content. You get extra access to our private Discord server. You get bonus podcasts covering the Miami Dolphins. You get off-topic content as well. We have live watch-alongs. We have retro rewatches where we watch old games and talk about them. We do off-topic shows. We have prizes, contests, all kinds of exclusive access only for Dolphins Talk Extra subscribers. So join us, patreon.com/Dolphins Talk. You can join the fun for as little as $3 a month. Head on over to Dolphins Talk Extra at patreon.com/Dolphins Talk. And now, on with the show.
You're listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast, the most listened to daily Miami Dolphins podcast on the internet.
Miami's got the Dolphins, the greatest of all.
Come on, Dolphins fans. Time to fins up.
We're in the air, we're on the ground, we're always in control. And when you say Miami, you're talking Super Bowl. 'Cause we're the Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins number one. Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins number one.
Hello, Miami Dolphins fans. How are you today? And thank you for listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast on this Sunday, July the 27th. I am here. I am your host, Michael Leva, joined by my co-host, Marissa Marino, and of course, someone who needs no introduction, but we're going to give him one anyways. You hear him every morning on 560 WQAM. He also has the Out to Pasture podcast with Kim Bocamper, and of course, every Miami Dolphins game on the Miami Dolphins Radio Network. Joe Rose. Joe, how you doing today?
Mike, Marissa, it's really, really nice to be with you. I know we've been going back and forth for a few days. I'm glad I could do it. And hey, anybody wants to talk Dolphins football, we've been through it all, and everybody likes to know. And yesterday was the first day for fans. I should go back. Saturday was the first day for fans, and you know, everybody's like, hey, what do you think? We had this guy. We got this guy through the draft. We just added a couple of veteran corners. What do you think? And you start to, like, well, maybe these are the pieces. Maybe this is the year we stay healthy and everything comes together. So we'll see.
We're hoping for it. Before we talk about the team, I got one question for you. First off, I want to thank you. A few weeks back, you had on our friend, Big E, Ian Berger, who I co-host a podcast with every Wednesday night and have for 6 or 7 years. You had him on your show to talk about what is happening in his life as he searches for a new liver and everything he's going through. So first off, from us, for someone who has been on a show with him every Wednesday for so many years now, thank you for having him on your show to spread the word of that. It's a huge help, and we really, everyone at this website and this podcast appreciates it more than you know. So thank you for that. Second, morning radio. You've been doing it now for a while. You're the top guy down there. And now you got a podcast as well, Out to Pasture. How do you handle those two? Because morning radio is one animal, the podcast is another. How do you like the podcast compared to morning radio?
Well, you can be a little more free-spirited on the podcast. If you guys,
yeah, sure can.
You know, and
yeah.
I get in a little trouble on the radio from time to time for letting it fly a little bit with the certain words you're not allowed. The real tricky one for me is doing the games, being with the team, and when I'm critical.
Yeah.
And that's the difficult one, because usually at a hotel or on the plane or on the road or sometimes at camp, it's a tricky one. I'm like you guys. I'm like most our fan base. They want to see things good, and when they're not, and you have won a playoff game, we all get frustrated, and we want to fix it. We want to fix it quickly. And hey, listen, our fan base is amazing. From coast to coast of people like that follow you guys, and then all the clubs around the country. I've been blown away. I've noticed it over the last 3 or 4 years, Mike and Marissa. I don't know. You guys know all of them a lot better than I do. From the New York, there's a Southern and Northern California club. I went to see my parents one weekend from Southern California. We had a few days off between 2 games when we played the Chargers and the Rams. So I went home for a couple of days, and I flew home with like half a plane full of Dolphin fans. We're going back to Sacramento, and I was like, wow, this is so it's out there. It's alive. There's a lot of fans. We go to a lot of stadiums. I was blown away. Went to Washington last year, the year before.
They took over that stadium. Yeah.
Incredible. And I was like, wow, look at this. So it's amazing. It's so much more than just a game, as I've learned, and you guys have known for a long time. It's about relationships. It's about people mention you, a few days ago. I said, how are you going on with Marissa and Mike? And oh my God, that's awesome, man. They're so cool. And I was like, man, it's like everybody lives in South Florida, no matter, because these things are taking place all over the country. These podcasts for Dolphins and all your favorite teams, you can find it. You can find love somewhere.
Yep, absolutely.
Fan of the year, Lisa. She actually sent me a picture yesterday. She took a photo with you. She was the fan of the year last year, and she's like, can't wait to see him on the show. I'm with Joe Rose and his family. And, people just get so excited down there.
Yeah, that's really cool. I have you talk about all the great fans, and there's just so many, and a lot of them travel. And it's amazing. Everybody's got a story. Everybody likes just a few seconds to tell you, hey man, my dad was a diehard fan, and I grew up, man, and I haven't seen a win, in the playoffs, but man, I'm like, what do you think? And this is so cool. And they got all their stuff, and they've got their story through the family that it just means so much, and I get it. I called it Don Shula planted the seed, man. And
he did
kind of took off.
He did. All right, let's talk some football here. This year's team, all off season, we've heard about how the Miami Dolphins are trying to fix the culture, that they're hanging out together, they're playing paintball together, they're trying to fix this culture. But Tyreek Hill's still here, and we know everything that happened last year with the Jets game and what he said after the game. This offseason, there's been rumors he's the reason why Wes Welker's not here anymore. There's a lot going on with Tyreek. When you played, was that ever an issue, like the guys hanging out together, sort of not being forced to go out together and hang out, but now let's try to do that? And is there any way they can make Tyreek Hill a captain this year, or is that just horrible optics if they try and do that?
You hit me with 4 or 5 pieces. I'm going to answer them because they're all like they're half a radio shows every day. Yeah. All the things that you guys just mentioned. So, let's start with Tyreek. We'll start before we go to the overall culture and my experience with culture. Which is probably a bad experience because I've been told more than once to leave old school stuff. It's gone. It's a new day. You play, and then
that's BS.
Yeah, I believe part of that is bullshit. I'm with you.
Yeah,
totally, and I totally agree. But so Tyreek said all the right things. I was one to keep him through all this, and I had buddies, and you've heard them, and Channing and other guys like he's got to go, man. Enough's enough. Like. Man, we're out there fighting. We're all out there at the end of the game. He quit. He broke the number one sin, and he's a captain, and he's acting like, and that captain should be an important thing. Not everybody gets a chance to be a captain where all the guys on the team said, hey, man, you're the guy we want to go out and represent us and be our leader every day. So let's start with he's exhausting.
Yes.
That's an exhausting dude.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with him because he is special. He is a special player. I hope all those things he said before camp started. I mean, I was like, man, I want to believe you. Please come back. All those things you understand that you have to do to be a leader, and you understand. And I was like, and I got to give you the best of what I have. And man, I learned a lot. And I was like, great. I hope. Now, I'm like, Tua, okay, sounds great. Show me. Let me see it. Let me see it the first time you have 3 or 4 catches for 25 or 30 yards in a game. How are you going to handle it? Win or lose, how are you going to handle in your stats? I get those guys want their stats, man. Their stats are important. 1,700 one year, almost 1,800 the next year. Unbelievable. But I have noticed around there is a difference. There is a difference. Now, it's easy to have a little difference when you're in camp and Ramsey's gone and Tyreek, you feel like he got the message and he's going to be one of the guys and all that stuff. But it remains to be seen because, as you guys know, and not just here but everywhere, you're going to go through a tough time on the team. You're going to lose a couple of games in a row. How are you going to bounce back? We go on the road and everybody thinks you're going to lose. And, we've talked about all these things, and there they go again. They lose late in the year in cold weather against a team that, is a playoff team and they can't beat them. And how do they hang together during that? Because they are going to lose games. There are teams that are better right now on paper. So it just remains to be seen how, but your best players, man, they got to be your leaders. I wasn't a leader. Dan Marino was the leader. Dwight Stevenson was a leader. Kuchenberg, that was leaders, man. We had guys that the Blackwood brothers were leaders, man. If you got out of line, they pull you out of a bar if they thought, you're doing something to affect the team. And there was a lot of leadership. So going back to that other thing you asked me about is culture. It ties right into all this stuff. Don Shula was a culture. Started with Don Shula. Now, Don Shula got the kind of guys where Don Shula mostly kind of guys where I get it. We're going to play for each other. We know the right way to do it. We know we may not always be the most talented team, but if we play the game the right way, we're always going to have a chance to win. That was kind of the, especially in the 80s when we didn't win at all. We lost a couple of Super Bowls, but we had a lot of home field advantage and we won a lot of playoff games. But it started with him, and it works down to the leaders. And there are strong. We had strong leadership. Nat Moore, you go across the board, whether you're having trouble at home and starting to affect you. I mean, these are things that they happen. Like, we had a rough stretch in marriages and relationships and stuff going on in your personal life, and having quality guys around you really, really makes a difference. Or a guy kick you in the butt and say, hey, enough's enough, man. You got to play better, dude. You're going to get cut and it's going to be your fault. And so I do appreciate having those kind of guys and knowing Don Shula, part of that culture, is getting all those right guys, but also winning games and know you're going to win games when you get there. I got there and that 17-0 thing was like, that was a different animal. And then I meet Zonk for the first time, and I meet Jim Kick and Warfield, and they show up Monday Night Football, Chicago Bears game is the first time. And I look behind the bench and I really got how important that game was. We were trying to knock them out. And a lot of people said, if you don't beat them in this Monday night game, they're going to run the table. Nobody's going to beat them. They were kicking everybody's butt. That defense, Walter Payton, I mean, they had it rolling on both sides. And I'll never forget, everybody talks about the game, but before the game, all those guys that come back, that game was important to all those guys.
Yep.
And it looked like a friggin' Hall of Fame of like, wow, these are the guys when I was in high school. Wow, this is.
Here are the ghosts, but they're alive. They're real ghosts that are alive. They're here to protect this record.
And it was important to them. And of course, Shula was part of the now and the past. And so it was, that really to me kind of set the bigger picture of the culture when I saw, the toughness of Zonka, the speed of Merck, the all-around leadership and brains of Bob Greasy. And then I see Nick Bonacani, and I'm like, man, this is unbelievable. There they are, and they're all here. And it's at that point I had not met a lot of those guys through the years. I was lucky enough to meet and spend time with them. But that kind of started it. And as I said before, when we started, that kind of started the Dolphin, little South Florida base of Dolphin fans kind of exploded throughout the country.
Yeah. And so going, just pivoting a little bit, we talked about the culture, and there's been a lot of changes too to this team. So offensive line being one of them, we've kind of shifted now. And in recent years, there's been issues with this offensive line. Teron Armstead has retired. They'll be starting a rookie at left guard, a second-year player at left tackle. And some guys like Jackson and Daniels are coming back from an injury, although we've seen reports in training camp that, Daniels is looking good. Do you like this offensive line group heading into the season, or are you worried there's going to be some growing pains with this group since it's such a younger group of guys?
Yeah, so it was obvious that they weren't happy with guard play a year ago. Whatever they said, whoever might have said comments about the offense, it was obvious, all right? They went out and they spent the most money on James Daniels to bring him in as one guard, and they moved up to 37, moved up higher in the second round, gave up some draft picks to get another guy in Savania because they think I think he's going to be really good from what I've seen out there. It's a big, big dude. And so, we wanted to get stronger and more physical with those two guys. And so the big thing with the offensive line, I think Patrick Paul is going to be really good. From time to time, he's learning out there, and Bradley Chubb's got him already a couple of times, but he doesn't back down. And man, he's waited for this opportunity, stayed here all off season to watch what everybody did. The guy really, Teron Armstead's talked about it. And you guys have probably talked to Teron about this. The dude's just nonstop asking him questions of what am I doing? What's the best way to block this guy? How, and meanwhile, he's got like the perfect God-given body of what a left tackle you want to look like. A big, athletic, long arms. He's got the whole thing. But he's got to play. He's got to get more experience. There's going to be some growing pains when he plays from time to time and you're not ready. They're going to get him. But I like the group. The question on that group for me, Marissa, to your point, is we can't be in December down to our 8th or 9th offensive lineman. You just – and I know we can't control injury. And I say this with Tua, probably talk about Tua. Nobody gets hurt on purpose, Everybody's going hard. You get rolled up on. You get hit late, But we can't be – we're playing the Houston Texans last year like yesterday, and that's when Tua hurt his hip, and we're playing with our 4th or 5th tackle who is a practice squad guy, and honestly, he wasn't ready to play. And it's – again, you hope you don't get down to start bringing up a lot of practice squad guys or adding guys – to the practice squad to come onto the team. The Buffalo Bills, they seem like, at some point I had to bring the Buffalo Bills because we're chasing the Buffalo Bills. They play the same 5 guys like 3 years in a row. They might shift one guy out and they bring another guy and he doesn't miss very many games. And maybe they play with a 6th guy, or they use one of their tight end positions. They bring in an extra tackle and had success with that, playing the extra offensive lineman. But the Eagles and those teams, those big dudes line up and it's hard. It's hard to have a lot of depth on the offensive line. And so I worry about that a little bit. If we get down to 7, 8, and 9 again, then you have to change the way you run your offense a little bit, get rid of the ball faster. Now it takes away from the guys who paid a lot of money on the outside. And then you've got to make it. But it's a great question. And I know we're sitting up there watching practice and I just come out and just hope they can stay healthy because it could be a good group. I mean, they're big, they're strong, they can play. I think Savanier is going to, like I said, I think he's going to come in quickly and he's going to have an impact on this game.
Yeah, I remember they made a joke last season because of how far we had gone into the depth of that offensive line. Open tryouts. Anybody who knows how to tackle or block a guy, come down to the
Yeah,
stadium and making a
right.
joke, and kind of like the Eagles did long years ago. But hopefully that won't be the case. So Tua,
Yeah.
you mentioned him, constantly talked about in the media. He's heading into year 6. We know he needs to be available. We know he needs to practice self-preservation, and this
Mhm.
needs to happen. We need him out there. What is your opinion on Tua? People have differing. I mean, they love him, they hate him, they love to hate him, hate to love him. And
Yes.
some are just so frustrated by him. Do
Yes.
you believe he is the guy that can take this team to the next level? It's been 25 years since a playoff win. Do you think he's the guy to do that?
So availability. I tell, and listen, I hear it on the radio and I see it on the text and social media, and I know you guys get it. You guys got a popular show, and I'm sure you hear it too. Like, I'm about ready to give up on this guy, and when he's hurt, and how's he play? I just ask everybody looking at the schedule, just let's give him, he's talking about all the right things. I always start with this. Tua has never gotten hurt on purpose to frustrate. No, nobody wants to get hurt. And the concussion thing, and now the hip last year also in the injury line there. But the biggest thing is he needs to stay healthy. And honestly, this is kind of this is it for this. You got to stay healthy for 17 games. A lot of quarterbacks stayed healthy last year. One of the things all those really good quarterbacks had in common, the only time some of the ones that played 16 because they got an off week, the last week of the season, because they'd already wrapped up a position in the playoffs. And so we need them like more than anything else on this football team. I mean, we can talk about the pass rushers being healthy on the outside and how good they are when they are healthy, but we need Tua to stay healthy. And I happened to go to practice yesterday, and Zach Wilson was really good. I mean, I had been to some, I go, okay, there's a reason he was a second overall pick.
Yep.
He was going in small windows and hitting guys, and he looked unbelievable. I was like, okay, he's in a good situation, not the pressure to come in and be the man. That's Tua. But I hope we don't get to that position. I want to see Tua stay healthy. He's been with those two guys on the outside for a long time. Jalen Waddle got a lot extra time this offseason because Tyreek was coming back from a wrist injury. And I thought that was good because that was his go-to guy, mini camps and off season to throw the ball. And I can see even at camp, they've got pretty good connection right now for early in camp. But this thing's about Tua. 17 games. We need Tua. We can't have him for 11 games, 10 games, 12 games. And the problem when he has a concussion, he's going to be out longer than anybody else in the league when he gets a concussion at this point in his career. Whether it's the league he ain't going back out there right away like some of the other guys. He's going to have to sit out some time, but he's the key guy. Mm-hmm. And I got to tell you, I'm proud of him on his comments to start camp. You've seen it. He followed it up on NFL Network a few days ago and said, listen, I like the guy a lot. We've been together. It's just, I got to see it. I got to see it and everything else. You asked me about the captain position. I kind of bounced out. Mike, you hit me with a lot of good stuff.
I know. That was a lot of stuff in that first
loaded
question. I know. Loaded.
He got to earn that captain thing for me, man. You haven't done it yet. You can't do it in 1 week of camp after all that stuff. But I was kind of glad Tua said, listen, man, it's obvious we need him. We know how good he is. Everybody knows how good he is. Even people are going, just get rid of him. I've had it. No, calm down. Any guy that's 31 years old that watches minicamp and runs out to California and runs a 10-100 meter, I'm going to keep that guy. I'm going to keep that guy as long as I can. He's a special guy. He still makes special plays, and he gives us a really good chance to have explosive plays and win football games.
Yeah. The secondary. Now, just prior to us recording, I don't even know if you know this, they reworked the deal of Minkah Fitzpatrick. There's conflicting reports, but I think that's the one that's accurate from Tom Pelissero, is they moved $2 million of next year's money to this year into a signing bonus, and it clears $11 million in cap space. Right. So hopefully Minkah now is going to talk to the media this week, and he should be happy, I think, with that news. Yeah. He gets a small little raise, so he's now going to make $17.5 million this year. The secondary overall, they signed 3 guys probably in the past 72 hours, Mike Hilton, Jones, and Armstrong. You know, last year at safety, outside of one play week 1, we got nothing. Nothing. At safety. So Minkah, nothing. One play week 1, nothing after that. He should help at safety. Corner, a little bit more questions. What are your thoughts on this group? And you think they're done? Well, not to make it a loaded question. What are your thoughts on the secondary? And with this news of Minkah, that opens up money. Hopefully they can find some money for Zach Sealer too, because he deserves it.
Yeah, he's the people's choice for a good reason. And by the way, he's out. Let's start with Zach Sealer. I'm going to get to all those things. So,
dude lived in a trailer first 2 years he was here.
Yeah. By the way, there's a guy who appreciates everything that's happened in his life in this league, because he did not start with a $10 million signing bonus in his first contract, and he got cut and got picked up and wondering how long am I going to be able to play in this league. Came from a small school. The whole deal. He's out there with those guys, and I'm sitting there watching. I look over at Kim Bokamper. I said, man, that guy, it's unbelievable. Usually a guy's not happy with his contract. They either don't show up at all if they're really pissed off, or they show up and they go, I'll do this drill, but I'm not doing that drill. That's team, and I could, nope, I'm out. I talked to my agent. He's out there for everything. He had the guys on the side, and those rookies, man, they listen to every word. And when I say Benito Jones, all of them, they're like, he is the leader of that group, and he understands and is smart enough to know there's a good chance all 3 of those rookies are going to play on defense this year. 2 for sure in the rotation. 1 will start, but he's great with them, man. He makes Austin Clark's job, the defensive line coach's job, to have him. So they're going to get something worked out. I know Drew Rosenhaus running around all over the place. He represents he seems to represent everybody, by the way, even the guys they just signed. Yeah. So yeah, but I wanted to start with him because we all feel Mike and Marissa like you, and a lot of people watching this. His deal is going to get done. That will get done. He is in a great spot. He made his point. He wants it, but he's not beating the Toppy Cup every day. He's not taken away from the team. And he understands his importance to that defensive line, especially with the growth of those young guys that we need in September, not late in the year, ready to go. So that's a big one. You asked me about the secondary. I feel a lot better having some guys with experience. We got to wait on Cater, unless you guys have heard something.
I haven't heard anything yet.
No.
He went down a little worried there, and hopefully that comes back. Through the years, 21 years of doing the Dolphin games with Jimmy, and we've seen guys limp off and go, he's going to be fine. He goes off on his own. I always think of Ronnie Brown. Ronnie Brown made a tackle on an interception when he was having this unbelievable year, matter of fact. And he got tackle, and he gets up and he limps. He was up a little slow, but he got up on his own. He kind of limped off. And I got, he'll be fine. I played doctor. One of the dumbest things I got. He'll be fine. Jimmy, he didn't need any help. He came off, but he was limping. It was an ACL. So I have learned.
I know.
That was it for the year. I hope he's okay, though, because Cater's made a big jump. He's been a great story as a guy that wasn't drafted from a small school and was kind of is the leader of that group outside of Minkah Fitzpatrick at the safety. By the way, Minkah Fitzpatrick made a play in practice going down the middle of the field. Mike, to your point, that was not made one time.
Not one.
That's football. Not one throw down the middle going, maybe our guy's not around it. He makes his jumps over the top of the corners coming together and the receiver coming down and makes a play that, like, wow. And like, I haven't seen that. I know it's only a play in practice, but I haven't seen that play. That would be good to see, because we got to get more production out of everybody, whether it's going to be a young guy on one of these Storm Ducks, probably going to get some playing time. I think he'll still find his way into the lineup. but we got to get more plays out of the secondary. Coach Weaver does a great job, but this thing's about getting takeaways, and we did not get enough takeaways last year in that secondary.
Yeah.
100%. And speaking of production, I mean, to talk about the other side of the ball, production, Jonnu Smith gone, had 88 receptions, 884 yards, 8 touchdowns. As a former tight end, you probably loved to see last year have a tight end finally for the Dolphins having a big season. It's been a while. How do you think Miami is going to replace that production? Do you think they're going to need to rely more on their run game? Maybe they need to. Hill and Waddle last year production was down. Maybe they need to step it up. We did get Darren Waller. Maybe he's the answer. What are your thoughts on making up for that loss of Jonnu?
Marissa, it's a great question because we do need more of a running game. The numbers are now from 23 to 24, but too much. Touchdowns, production, yards per carry, way off. We were over 5 yards per carry on Raheem's big year, and it was 4 yards a carry last year. It wasn't enough. Couldn't run the ball well in 3rd and 1 in situations, which puts more pressure on the plays outside, which you don't want to do. First of all, with Jonnu Smith, I was amazed on how good he was. Everything. He was faster than I thought. I was already told, but I really hadn't seen him. And then I sat down with somebody, watched some of the Atlanta plays in his last year in Atlanta. But he is really good. Yards after catch. I don't remember him dropping a football. I'm sure he dropped 1 or 2, but you don't remember it. He was really good. And to me, it's a big loss. He's a really good pass receiving tight end. He is. And he came up big when we needed him. He kept drives going. He won a game with 3 catches on the last drive that beat the Jets, if I'm not mistaken, with the catch he makes in the end zone. And so he's great. I think the production numbers at the tight end position are going to go way down this year from what we got. And I think you hit it. The 2 guys making all the money on the outside. I think that's why he has picked this coaching staff that he has from Bevel, Slowick's now with him. I think a big part is to figure out this 2 deep thing and get those guys back involved in this offense down the field. Not the short stuff, but back on the slants, the square ends, the deep crossing routes that we do so well. We got to get back. Pay both those guys a lot of money, and Waddle and Tyreek. We need them. We need those quick scoring plays and drives. And I just think that they're a big part of it. We got to get their numbers back up. Like you said, they can't be what they were last year. Mm-mm. Can't have one guy with 700 yards and the other with 900 yards. That's a team that tells me we were like 3 and 14, not what we were. So I think we got to get them going and probably get our slot receivers more involved too. But I do expect, because I don't see anybody like Jonnu Smith in this group. And I know one of those guys we just signed he's been out of football. He's not practicing right now in Waller. So we'll see what we get, find out how much he loves football again after you sit out a year. But there are some other guys and some other options. I think they really like their receivers across the board. The first 4 guys, I think they like a lot.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how Nick Westbrook-Akine, how he shows up this season as well.
I think Malik Washington's going to have a big year. They like Malik, and man, he can run. He's making big plays out there. So yeah, I think he's going to be a bigger part of the offense.
Awesome. Well, real quickly, you had spoken earlier about Don Shula. I mean, everyone knows you played for him, such a legend. What do you think Coach Shula would think of this modern NFL with limited practice in pads, where they practice in the morning before it gets too hot? So first of all, what are your thoughts on that? And then to follow that up, do you have a good Coach Shula story that you can share for us?
How clean do I have to keep it on the show? How clean do you need to keep it?
It's R-rated. You can go anywhere you want.
I think the answer on today's football game
yeah.
Overall would be not being able to practice twice a day. that would be a problem because he liked his run practice in the morning. And he liked passing practice in the afternoon. He liked his live drills. He thought they were important. If you're going to do it in the game, you had to do it in practice. And some of this is outdated now. I'm with, because when I go, you're going to get comments. He's old school. These old guys can't let it go and stuff. But I do like some of the sports science and stuff. I would have loved to see how Coach Shula would have done with sports science and somebody coming up to him saying, hey, you might want to slow it down. It's week 10. One of your receivers, he's down in miles per hour at running, and he's been a little bit down, and maybe back off on practice with him. That would be the hardest part because you got to practice well during the week to play well on Sunday, which is now Thursday and Monday and Friday and just about every day of the week we're playing football games. So it would be an adjustment, and he liked to deal directly with players. And I also don't know how he would do with guys that have contracts, want new contracts. I think all those things would be really hard. I'll give you an example. So I went from 35 to 42 to 50,000 my first 3 years, 80, 81, 82. And my contract, I didn't have a contract for the fourth year. And he said, I say they're going to give you, and he was really involved in contracts. He goes, I see they're going to give you 80. I think that's fair. Camp starts tomorrow. I expect you to sign that contract and be here. It's like, okay, that was it. That was it.
That's your negotiation.
Was my agent, and Nick goes, I think you ought to take it. That was
because I'm making 80.
that was not everybody did that, but I went in a situation like a lot of those other guys are really good players to hold out. But there's some great stories. I could start telling you stories that are really funny. So speaking of Don Shula, we're in December. I don't know what year, but Dwight was a captain, and at that point, maybe the best player, or one of the best players in the league, period. Not center. That was a given, but you could watch him, and he was doing things at center we'd never seen guys do. He'd snap it on goal line, and he'd take the tackle and shove him out of the end zone. And you're just like, how can you snap the ball and friggin' do that against these tackles? And he just did amazing things with leverage and strength, and he was great, but he was a captain. So we were all complaining. We had lost a couple of games. It's December, and he's going nuts. He didn't take losses. Losses were not good. Not good. Not a good mood around the locker room. And so 6 or 7 of us are going, man, Dwight, you need to tell him, man, see if he'll let up on practices, like a little bit, like just cut back on practice, man. Over the last month, we got friggin' tired legs. Everybody's got tired legs, man. His long camps, his practices. Shit, everybody's tired. So Dwight goes, all right. No, I hear enough of you guys. I'll go talk to him. So he goes in thinking, I mean, if anybody can talk to Don Shula, it's Dwight Stevenson, right? One of the greatest players in the game. So Dwight goes back there, and he goes, hey, Coach, what do you need? What do you need, Dwight? What's up? Because nobody went back to the office. There'd be no reason unless something was wrong. And he goes, well, guys got tired legs, and they're wondering if we could cut back on practice a little bit, maybe in between, take a day off and stuff, and just have fresh legs for Sunday coming up. And he goes, well, can you give me a list of those names of those guys? Oh, no, Coach. Dwight was a team guy. He goes, no, Coach, I can't do that. He goes, well, send him a message when you get out of here. And I'll talk about this later because he started team meeting practice every day. Tell them to stay out of the friggin' nightclubs all night, get their ass home after practice, stay off their feet, and they won't have tired legs. So Dwight came out, and we're all waiting for him, and everybody's there with a little break at lunch, and we're all, how to go, Dwight? How to go? Man, it didn't go well. And so the next question was, you didn't say any of our names, did you? You didn't say anybody's name because he was that intimidating back then. So nobody ever complained about tired legs again. It was like, he goes, you guys are going to go out at night to Fort Lauderdale on a Thursday or Friday and then whine about it? I tell you what, why don't you guys stay home and find a nice movie to watch or watch some film study, do a little film study together instead of going out chasing girls and doing things. So I just thought, and Dwight goes, I'll never do it again, man. And we're all going, hey, you didn't mention my name, did you? You didn't mention my name. That was pretty funny. But yeah, Shoes was, come to find out after all these years, man, he knew everything was going on. I thought he knew everything. He knew what clubs we'd go to, and Dade and Broward. He knew everything. He stayed up. Stu Weinstein kept him up on everything. He was amazing on how quickly he got information. He wanted to know, and he was also a former player that we all kind of forgot. And so he'd been through kind of a lot of the same stuff himself. So I just thought it was pretty interesting. But yeah, there are some classic Don Shula stories. One time, Glenn Blackwood, I made the team. Glenn Blackwood said, hey man, sooner or later, I just want to let you know, he's going to get you. And I go, what do you mean get me? He goes, he's going to talk to you like you've never been talked to before when you mess up. And I go, no. I said, my dad's old school. I grew up old school. My dad had trouble saying he loved me. I knew he loved me, but he wasn't like that. So I'm used to it. I've been spanked and all that. I'm good. He goes, no, I'm just telling you, when he loses it and you make a mental mistake or a crucial physical mistake in a game, he's going to unload on you. So we're playing a Monday night football game. And I run down the field, too deep, right down. David Woodley puts it right on the money. I get hit same time. It's dropped. And I get it was a drop. I get hit physically, the ball pops out of my hands. I was lucky it wasn't a fumble. The ball goes up, so I'm coming off, and he's letting it rip. He's zoned right in on you from where you would. I mean, he could go up, and he wasn't worried about special teams. It's fourth down punting team. He was zoned in on why that drive stopped. And it was me that drive stopped. And he let me have it pretty good. So all the guys go, hey, man, it's good. It's good. Hey, he got it. It's done. It's over. I go, good. So I'm sitting down. I got Jimmy Seffel on one side, Nat Moore on the other with the Gatorade. Go to the Gatorade, get a little Gatorade. And now Ron Springs for the Dallas Cowboys. Danny White hits Ron Springs. We're in Dallas Monday night. He jumps up, makes a one-handed catch for a first down. 3rd and 6, gets about 9 yards, splits our guys. And I hear, where's fucking Rose? And I'm sitting back there with a Gatorade, that green Gatorade or orange, and I'm sitting here going, oh, no, here he comes. And I got to tell you, and Nat and Jimmy are two of my best friends in the whole world. One took off the one side, and
they
one
left
took
you
off the other.
They left you.
I was the Lone Ranger on that bench. And it was part 2 of an ass chewing, man, like nobody's business. So I always love to tell that story and those guys, and I don't want to get into all the other stuff, but you were accountable for every play. There's no question about it. You were accountable, and I always wonder, man, what it would be with all these cameras now. When a guy messes up, can you imagine Don Shula? Like after you drop a ball or you miss a sack or a tackle or your punt gets blocked or a guy runs one back. And I was like, oh, God.
Well, that's the thing. He knew where you guys were on the town. No cell phones back then. He had his people out there to inform him what was happening.
He had meetings with sheriffs, lieutenants, and they stayed in touch like, hey, what's going on? He goes out September's last night, 7 of your guys, because there was a lot going on in the 80s. There was you've seen
Wild
the Colombian cartel and all the other stuff, and the mob was still going pretty strong down here, and so it was amazing. He hit us one day in practice. We had a meeting, and if I get long-winded, Marissa, Mike, let me know.
We have all the time in the world.
I end up, it'll be 5:00 in the afternoon. I didn't know he was going to yap this long.
The fans love it, I'm sure.
I'm making a 4-part episode. Don't worry.
So Shoes, man, he he came in, and this is the one that got me. He comes in because he's all business. I mean, he had, hey, today we're hitting the red zone. He'd hit things that, hey, the blitz breakoffs, there's some things we want to change. I mean, he had to, you made a mental mistake. You're a real dumbass on our team because he went over it. And if you had a comprehension problem, he still hit the guys that had comprehension problems learning. It was stuck in there. You know, you were going to bed at night thinking about a blitz breakoff if a guy was coming, you know, and so it really worked well. He came in one day, and I was talking to Stu Weinstein about this recently because he heard me talking about it. And he goes, all right, 3 clubs you guys ought to stay out of. Shit, I didn't know he knew it. So he names like, I don't know if these are old school clubs, and I don't know what age everybody is, but Roland.
I know Marissa's father probably knows.
he named some clubs. I think he might have hit one club in Coral down in the Gables, or there was no South Beach at the time. But so he hit some clubs, and I just going, wow, you know, because we'd all go, and we did everything as a team. The camaraderie of our team was incredible. We had guys that it was amazing. You had asked me that before, Mike. Our guys were close. And guys go, hey, we're going out tonight. You might have 12 or 15 guys, some on offense, some on defense, that would show up if you're going out. Hey, we're going to have a beer at Lum's after practice. You might have 20 guys show up for a beer on their way home, just to sit around, shoot the breeze, and everything. So we had really close teams, really, really close teams. I think a lot of it had to do with there wasn't a lot of money back then. Like today, it's a lot different game. Free agency has changed, obviously. You get cut and, you know, you're on, you get to a new team and everything else. But I hope I didn't bore you too much
No.
too much on those stories.
No, I'm soaking it all in. I hear it from my dad, but it's better to hear it from you. I'd rather hear it straight from you.
Yeah. Well, listen, the game is super popular. It wasn't at this level by any means of what it is. I had no idea our game was going to grow to where it is right now. And you guys know more than me. I don't need to tell you guys.
In the 80s, they played games, you know, when it was time for the NFC Championship game, 1-4. Now they're moving them back to prime time. Just play the game at 1. That's what I grew up watching. I ain't got to wait all day for an AFC Championship game. Just play. No, they changed it. And the draft, oh my God, the draft used to be 18 rounds, 17 rounds. Now 1 round one night, 2 more rounds the next night. It's changed so much for people who weren't alive back then, maybe not as old as me. It's like what I grew up with in the 80s. It's not even it's not even the same sport in some ways.
You know what's amazed me? Probably you, and I don't know if you guys have gone. I never realized the draft in all these cities where it was.
I've never gone. I've had no plans to go. Yeah. It's like it's just renames off an index card, but people go nuts for it.
They do.
The ratings, everything for the draft, the amount of people that care, and you're obviously educated because you have your favorite college football teams. And by the time the draft rolls around, you know, Marissa and Mike have their favorites you like. I have my favorite. I kind of like
a kid
this
from
guy.
South Dakota State that I've never seen once. Oh, this guy, you can't not take him. He's the best.
Yeah, right. No, so it's been great seeing the popularity of the game, and for me, still being around the young guys is still a lot of fun, and talking to you guys.
Yes, we love it. Well, we're going to do real quickly before we wrap up, we're going to do a Dolphins Talk speed round, 5 questions with Joe Rose. And we are going to ask you lightning style questions. And as quick as you can answer them, we'd love to hear your off the cuff answers. So,
okay.
You ready to do this, Joe?
I'm probably not. I'm a slow guy in general up top, so we'll see how it goes.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right. So question number 1, will Tyreek have over 1,500 receiving yards this year?
Under.
Which is your most memorable touchdown reception? Marino's first ever touchdown pass or the 1979 game-winning touchdown versus Stanford?
Ooh. No. I would take the Marino first touchdown because that's all anybody asks me about. So I'll take the Marino first touchdown.
Please the people. All right, this is a good one. We love food over here at Dolphins Talk. Favorite late night snack?
favorite late night snack. Oh, you guys, it's definitely chicken wings. I know it's not light. If she's got chicken wings, I never had a chicken wing growing up. I swear I never had a chicken wing growing up in Northern California. And that has got to be the greatest thing ever introduced to me. They had Buffalo places down here, like they're called Wings and Things or Wings Plus. So good. Yeah, that's a go-to.
There you have it. More annoying fan base, Jets fans or Stanford fans?
Jets are by themselves.
They are.
The Jets fans, that's too many people in the media from that Jets area too. So yeah, it's definitely the Jets. Never, no matter how bad the Jets are, it's like sorry.
Yeah. And final question: are you looking forward to going to Spain this year to call the Miami-Washington game? I
am looking forward to going to Madrid. I actually enjoy going to those games because we go over early, and it gives me a chance to get away. And then, by the way, we get back on Sunday. I'm back in time to do my show Monday morning. And
wow, you're not missing a day.
Yeah.
Dedication.
I thought about staying over there and doing something. We do that. My wife and I talk about. We end up never doing it, so probably won't do it again. But yeah, I enjoy the games overseas. It's not like I want to do 3 of them a year. Don't get me wrong. But one every couple of years.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That was the speed round. You nailed it.
But I talk so much, nothing can be fast. I mean, I yell so much. That was like 20 minutes and 30 seconds.
No, I think you did better than you think you did.
All right. Hey, you guys, thank you.
Yeah. That was a great interview, Joe. Thank you so much for your time. Again, everyone, be sure to listen to Joe Rose 560 WQAM every morning, The Joe Rose Show, his podcast with Kim Bocamper, Out to Pasture. We've had him on the show in the past, Kim. He's a great guy as well. And talk about wings. His place got some great wings over at Bocamper's. They got good wings. He's
got some great restaurants down there, whether you want to go down to the beach or a sports bar, and he's got a brand new restaurant in Los Olas. It's fantastic. But
yeah.
So
and you were talking about all the fan clubs and stuff. In October each year, they have the fan club weekend. They all go to Bocamper's. I've seen people there from Mexico, from the UK, from Germany. Everyone converges at Bocamper's.
Yeah.
It's like Miami Dolphins fans around the globe for one game, nowhere to go, and everyone's there. It's a crazy scene.
That is up on Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a great location right there on the water. It's fantastic. It really is.
It'll be for the Chargers game this year, and I will be there in October when we play the Chargers. But Joe, thank you so much.
Mike, thank you.
Thank you.
Marissa, thank you. Thank you. Marissa, you were great. Thank you for staying on me to get this done today. Thank you.
Oh, no worries.
She's a rock star. She's the best.
It was an absolute pleasure. I've heard so many great things about you, and I've been listening to you on the radio for my whole life, basically. So it's
she tell me stories about her dad. I go, I know.
Oh, her dad's got some.
My ass getting old.
Her dad can write a book. Her dad can write a book and make money. He's got great stories.
Yeah, that's what I hear. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for listening. We'll talk to you again after a while. Hey, everyone. Mike here from DolphinsTalk.com. And thank you for watching this video. Please be sure to take a second to smash the like button here on this video and also to ensure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. We thank you so much for listening, and we know there are a lot of podcast options out there these days regarding the Miami Dolphins and with non-Miami Dolphins podcasts. So we do appreciate you giving us a few minutes each and every day to tune in and listen to all of our shows. Everyone here on staff, thanks you so much. And if you enjoy these shows, also please be sure to sign up for Dolphins Talk Extra, our Patreon service at patreon.com/Dolphins Talk, where we have bonus podcasts about the Dolphins and some shows not about the Miami Dolphins. We have a private message board. We also have a ton of contests where we give away really cool prizes, and it's all for the low cost of $3 a month. Again, that's patreon.com/Dolphins Talk. And also, please be sure to follow the written content we have up on our website. So check out the website, DolphinsTalk.com, each and every day. Once again, thank you again for listening. Take care, and we'll talk to you again real soon.